All right, everybody. My name is Nicholas Lau. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us here on this Monday night for our Monday Night Edge presentation, where we will go over an amazing strategy that has been helping a lot of people make money, learn a new skill that they never thought would be possible, something they had never considered. And here they are doing it. So, a little bit of background about myself, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of what you want to hear. I've been an affiliate marketer for well over a decade now. I've dabbled in many different things from email marketing to e-commerce to affiliate marketing. And, one thing led to another. And you just start making so many different contacts in the industry. You start doing good at one thing, you take money, you invest it in another thing, you just keep expanding your network. And one thing that happened to me is when I started doing really good, I wanted to kind of revisit some things that I did at a younger age, things from my childhood. And one of those things that I got involved with in my childhood was collecting sports cards. As you can see, probably got like a table right there just full of sports cards. And, I wanted to get back into that. And I joined this program that taught people how to buy and sell sports cards, how to flip them. And they had different levels in there. So I was at the beginner level. And then one day I got this email talking about, hey, join our advanced level so you could teach other strategies. And then on top of that, we're going to teach you sports betting. And I was like, well, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense as sports card, sports betting. It's like, okay, I get it. Kind of the same demographic, just kind of caught me off guard. So I went to that page and I said, let me go find out why they're teaching sports betting here. And I started seeing all these testimonials. And it was very different than anything I've seen because these testimonials were from people, just average, everyday people. Many of them, you could tell the moment they talked, they didn't know anything about sports. And yet there they were making money. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I started watching some of these interviews that Chad, who's our educator and co-founder here, he was doing these interviews with some of his students, and I was like, these people don't know anything about sports. It's like this is wild, and I was like, okay, so it got my attention. So then I set up a call with them to see if I wanted to join that higher level program because it was quite expensive. But once I got to talk to the owner of the company and he explained what they're doing, and I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. So it's like you're teaching people how to make money with the sports betting. So then when they have money, they have more money to put into some of their passion projects, like the sports cards and the Pokemon cards and all that. And it's like, that's interesting. So I said, you know what? You have got my attention. I've been sports betting myself for 20 years, off and on. I'm decent at it, but I've never been decent enough where I could make a consistent income. I would always let my emotions get involved and always turn a good thing into a bad thing and chasing losses. Sports betting, for those of you that have done it, can be very emotional, especially if you're attached to the teams and the outcomes and stuff, and you think you know better than what's happening. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and do this because I think I understand what you guys are doing, but I want to fully understand what you're doing. So I go ahead and sign up for the program, paid a lot of money, paid, well over $10,000 for that program. And I was like, okay, let's go ahead and get started. Then the owner tells me, he's like, by the way, the person that's teaching the sports betting, this is his last week here. He's leaving. I'm like, you could have told me that like 15 minutes ago before I signed up. So, anyways, what he's like, but it doesn't matter. He's like, all his education's back there. You'll figure it out. I'm like, okay, we'll see. I started going through Chad's education in that previous program. And I was like, okay, I really like the way he teaches. It's resonating. I get it. So I messaged Chad and I said, hey, I know you're about to leave this company. I don't know for what reason, if you're, found a better job, off to do whatever. I said, doesn't matter. But what I do need from you, if you can, I said, I just need 30 minutes of your time so I can iron out some of these things that I'm learning from your videos just so I understand it better. I said, he didn't have to do it, but he said, sure. So I jumped on a call with him. 30 minutes ended up probably being like an hour and a half. We just got along really well. And he got to know who I am and I got to know who he is. So he answered all my questions. And then towards the end of the call, I said, Chad, I hate to pry. I just met you. I said, why are you leaving? I said, seems like a great setup here. It's like you get to bet on sports, you get to buy Pokemon cards and sports cards. I think this is like my paradise. It's like, where are you going? And he's like, he's like, listen, I love the owner of the company. I love what they got going on here. It's just a difference of opinion on how to promote my product. He wants to make it a part of his high ticket thing. And he's like, I would like to make it more affordable for people. And there was a difference there. So it was costing me money because the influx of people wasn't that much. It was only people that could afford it. So he's like, I was hoping that he would change his mind. He didn't. So I decided to go my separate ways and do something with some other guys. So I said, oh, okay, cool. I said, I hate to even ask this, but do you mind if I go where you're going and stuff and whatever? And he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't really want to get too much into that because I don't want to feel like I'm stepping on toes. But I was like, trust me, it's like, there's a benefit. I say, I promise you, if you tell me where you're going, I will make it worth your while. So that's what happened. I ended up with Chad at this other program. That one didn't work out for other reasons because the people that he was working with were not marketers. They didn't understand how this whole affiliate marketing game works and how to take a product and how to launch it properly. So things didn't work out there. And Chad was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to go back and just do this on my own and just side hustle it. I reached out to him. I said, listen, I said, how would you like to work together? I said, I can properly launch this. I have the infrastructure, I have the people, I know how to get this to the right people that would really appreciate what you're doing. So he's like, I'm willing to hear it out. So I said, okay, got to do one thing. I said, my best friend, Dustin, in Las Vegas, great affiliate marketer. I actually work in his company right now. And him and his boys are actually working on a sports betting software. And you have sports betting education. I said, do you mind if I bring him on a call and see if, maybe there's a way we can collaborate on this? He said, sure. So I introduced Dustin to Chad. They got along really well. They had a lot of things in common. They both like to fish. They both like to golf. So I was like, okay. So Dustin said, hey, listen, I like what you guys are doing. This makes perfect sense. It's like if there's a place for me, you guys want me to be a part of this, I'm in. So that's how that all came about. And that's how LGM was launched. That's the acronym is the first letter of all of our last names, Lau, Gracie, Mansell. But the actual meaning is learn, grow, multiply, because we want you to learn a skill. We want you to help it make you grow and then be able to multiply your income, because over time we're not just going to do sports betting. We are going to teach you other things that we know, but this is going to be the vehicle. This is going to be the catalyst that's going to make that money to teach you other things. Okay. So with that story aside, let me go ahead and get into the presentation slides, and then I will turn it over to our top affiliate, Mike Tharp from Michigan. He's going to teach you how to make money in this. He has brought the most people into this. He has built an amazing team, and he's helped change a lot of lives. So he'll get into that. We also have an amazing testimonial we'll do before I get it over to Mike. And then if we have some time at the end, we can do a little bit of Q&A, okay? So thank you for giving me that time to do the intro. So let me go ahead and get into my presentation slides. If you can see my slides, if you can hear me, see me, just drop a 1 in the chat. Just need to make sure that we're all on the same page. Perfect. Thank you very much. So let me go ahead and let's see. I got to put this into full screen mode slideshow. All right. We're good. Mike, you can see me, hear me? We're good?
Yes, sir. Good to go.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Learn, grow, multiply. LGM. That is the name of the company. So this is the most important thing, the profit loop. So what is the profit loop? So let me explain this in the most basic understanding. I don't want anybody to be confused. There's a lot of different sports books around the world. Okay. So even in America, there's a lot of sports books. Now, the way that they compete with each other is they have to offer an incentive. They have to offer a bonus, because if all they said is, hey, we're a sports book, you deposit money here. If you win, we pay you. If we lose, we don't. Okay, well, that's great. But it's like, what is my incentive to come play at your sports book? Well, the incentive is they have different bonuses. Most of them are what they call a free play bonus. And what a free play bonus is, when you deposit money, they will give you a percentage match. So maybe they have a 50% match. And they'll say, okay, deposit up to $500 and we will give you a 50% match. So if you deposit $500, they'll give you $200, $250 in free play money. Now that free play money is their money. They're saying, we're going to give you our money to play with. If you win, then the winnings will be added to your cash balance, and whatever you risk will just disappear. Okay. So what Chad learned a long time ago, so what Chad learned really right out of high school, so we're talking about well over 20 years ago, What he learned is when he was depositing money at these sports books, and back then there was no, the internet wasn't what it was today. There wasn't crypto to make everything speedy. Back then, when we wanted to deposit money into a sports book, especially these offshore sports books, we would have to go wait in line at the grocery store, do a Western Union, and then wait for all these things to happen before they deposited money in the account. So if I was, and this is back when I was in California. So on a Sunday, when NFL games start at 10 a.m., in order for me to go get money into my account, I would probably have to be in line at Western Union, probably like 8 o'clock in the morning, or do it the night before. That's how difficult things were back then. Now everything is crypto in and out. I don't have to leave my office. I don't have to leave my house to do anything. I can do all this from the comfort of my own home. But getting back to the point, once Chad made a deposit and they said, "Hey, would you like to take us up on your bonus offer?" Well, back then I didn't want to take the bonus offer. Maybe Chad learned right away that it's like, well, if you're going to give me free money, I'll take it. The reason I didn't want to take the free money, and I wish I had his insight as to how he figured all this out, but I didn't want to take the free money because then they trap you into what they call as a rollover. Okay. So you get the bonus, you convert the free play, but after you convert that free play into cash, now you have to complete a rollover. So maybe the terms were you get a 50% rollover, or you get a 50% bonus, but the rollover is 10 times. So you take your deposit plus your bonus, and then you multiply it by the rollover. So if you had put $100 in and you had 100% match, now you're at 200. Now you multiply that by the rollover. Maybe the rollover is 10 for simple math. Now your rollover is $2,000. What does that mean? You have to put $2,000 worth of action in before you complete the rollover. Now, that doesn't mean you have to win $2,000. You just have to bet enough where they add it up. And it's like, okay, you've put $2,000 worth of action in. Now you've completed the rollover. Now, whatever money is in your account, that's yours. You can withdraw it if you want. So that's step 4. You withdraw the money, you repeat the process. You go find another sports book that gets another bonus. So, long story short, what are we doing here? We're betting on both sides of the same game. We're taking a bonus at Sportsbook A, we're taking a bonus at Sportsbook B. Okay. And now let's just say that the Cowboys and the Eagles are playing. Okay. So in one book, we're taking the Cowboys. In one book, we're taking the Eagles. We don't care who wins the game. We're just trying to put enough action in to hit that rollover. Okay. At some point, you might care a little more who wins the game because maybe one book's closer to the rollover. So you're like, I hope this book wins, but you cannot change the outcome of a game. You don't know what's going to happen. Even if you have an edge and you're like, this team is way better, that team just has to have one player that's injured to change the whole thing. That's why betting the normal way is very tough. You could have all of the intelligence on a game, you could know that inside and out. All it takes is one player or one bad referee call, and the whole thing is changed. Not with this, because in this, we do not care who wins the game. All we're doing is essentially recycling money. That's why it's called a profit loop. We don't care who wins the game. All we want to do is complete those rollovers, take that money, put it into different books, collect bonuses. If that makes sense, drop a 2 in the chat. I want to make sure people are following. If that makes sense, drop a 2 in the chat. Okay. All right. Cool. And we'll go over it a little bit more. I just wanted to make sure that I explained that properly. Sports is just a vehicle to move the money. I want you to look at this like a video game. That's all we're doing is just trying to pass levels. Sports is just the thing that we're playing. These guys have to go, and the girls, because we bet on a lot of WNBA, the guys and the girls just have to go out there, finish their game, and all we're doing is just moving money around. That's it. Okay. So if somebody says that, well, Nick, if I win too much at one sports book, aren't they going to kick me out? I mean, yeah, technically they could, but the thing is that if you're going to win there one month, there's a good chance you're going to lose there the next month. Why? Because we have no edge as far as who's going to win the game. It's just a matter of, it's just luck of the draw. So more than likely, if you started with 4 books, 3 of those books are going to be losers. One is going to be the winner. You're going to take the money from the winner, go put it in more books. So it's never going to be like I'm winning at every single book. It's not possible because if you're winning at one book, you're losing at another book. That is how the profit loop works. Okay. So step 1, get the bonus, deposit the money into a sports book. They give you a bonus, cash or free play. I explained free play where it's their money, it's in a separate account and you bet it. And if you win, it becomes cash. There's other sports books that just give you a cash bonus. It's like they'll give you maybe like 75% cash. So if you deposited $1,000, they'll just make your balance 1750, and then you'll just be good to go. And then you just have to complete the rollover, but you don't have to do the free play conversion process. So deposit 200, get a $200 bonus. 400 is essentially what you're starting with. Step two, convert the free play. Did you get a cash bonus? If you did, as I mentioned, nothing to convert. It's real money added to your balance. You just have to hit the rollover requirement. Did you get a free play? Use the promo converter tool. And we might get into that a little bit later. Maybe not, because I don't want the presentation to go too long, but we have a calculator. It's the promo converter tool. You just put all the numbers in there. It'll tell you what to bet on each side to guarantee that you make a certain outcome. And what we like to do is we like to go for a 50% profit. So it doesn't matter who wins that game on a free play. Our goal is to make a 50% profit. Step three, you complete the rollover. So you use what we call the low hold tool. So low hold is another name for our calculator to say that, hey, listen, we want to lose as little as possible on this. This is very important. I want you to understand that after you convert your free play is turning free money into cash. That's where we make our money. Now, when you're betting daily to hit that rollover, you are losing money intentionally every single day. Why? Because the house always has an edge, right? If you bet on both sides of the game, the house has typically like a 10% edge. So you would risk 110 to win 100. Okay. If you won the bet, you get your 110 back plus 100. If you lose the bet, you lose 110. So just do simple math. If on one side you win and on one side you lose, what's the net effect of that? You're going to lose $10. Okay. Doesn't matter, because we tell our calculator, we don't want to lose more than 4% on a game. At least that's the way I set it up. I try to go lower, obviously. The lower, the better, but I never want to lose more than 4% on a game. And then what happens is all of these games that you're betting on every day, you're intentionally losing to get to that rollover requirement. Once you hit the rollover requirement, you take your money out, you go put it into another book, you go get another bonus. Your bonuses will always outweigh how much you're losing on these daily games. So you'll have on your calendar, you'll have green days where you make money. You'll have red days when you lose money. You'll notice the green days are far bigger than the red days, because the green days, you're making good money. The red days, you're just taking small losses. Okay. So you continue to place those bets shown on the software until the rollover is complete. You keep almost all your money while finishing the rollover. So then you withdraw the money. You go to your website, you click withdraw, cash out, you do your KYC, your verification, all of that stuff. You got to make sure you are you, so nobody's trying to pretend to be you. So those things are a little bit strict on. And then you choose your payment method. 99% of the time, crypto is your best method. Sometimes they'll have some other methods. I don't like to get into those methods too much. It's just too much work. I want you to understand that crypto is a big part of this, and we do teach it as well. Okay. So you don't have to worry about that. Don't be scared of crypto. Crypto is what makes this stuff so easy and fly so fast. And that's with the offshore books. Okay. Now for the local books, because in some states, they have sports books within the states. They have DraftKings, FanDuel, Fanatics, Bet MGM. They have all sorts. That's a different case. They will pay you with an ACH transfer. They'll pay you with PayPal. They'll have more localized ways to pay you out. When you're dealing offshore, then obviously crypto is the thing that is the fastest with the least amount of fees. Then you just repeat the process. Sign up with more books, do steps 1 to 4 again. Each sports book, you want to put each sports book, you make about $100 to $300 profit. 10 to 15 sports books, you could, inevitably make $2,000 to $4,000 a month profit. Okay. So let me go ahead and stop my share so you guys can understand that. So first of all, just drop a 3 in the chat if all of that made sense. And we're going to go over it a little bit more. I don't want to overwhelm you. My whole thing is to make this as simple as possible. So like I said, all we're doing is just taking bonuses from different sports books and betting them against each other, because the bonus money is going to outweigh the money that you're losing on a day-to-day basis. That's all we're doing. Now, in theory, that does sound easy. There is a technical side to this. Okay. So I always like to say 2 things. This is not for everybody, because if you're financially strapped and you're saying that, okay, I'm going to put my last of my money in this and this has to work, try not to do that to yourself. You know, I don't want that stress. Mike doesn't want that stress. Dustin and Chad don't want that stress. It's like, I would rather you save up the money, wait until you're in a better position to do this. Because guess what? Sports betting is not going away. Sports betting has been here for a long time. You're not going to miss out on anything. Don't put yourself in a bad position where you're like, well, I only have $500 to start. I wouldn't do that. I would wait until you have the proper thing, money. The other thing is, if you're not technically savvy, you're like, I'm just not good on the computer. I can't click things fast enough. If you already know that just minor things overwhelm you, like, it's like, okay, I can't log into my back office. I don't know how to sign on to a Zoom, whatever the case may be. If those are hangups that you have, then just consider this is not something you can do on the phone. Okay. You have to be on your computer at a bare minimum. You have to be on your laptop. I mean, I do it on my laptop. Don't try to do it on your iPad, because the reason why is you have like 3 or 4 books open at the same time, sports books, plus you have your software. So there's a lot of real estate that's filling up on your screen. You need to make sure that you have the proper setup. You need to have a laptop or a desktop. You need to have good internet speed. You need to have the money to start with, and you need to have a little bit of technical know-how. Okay. Now, there are people that claim that they're not technically savvy, and I get on a call with them and they're fine. But then there's other people that really do struggle. And that's why I just want to be very clear about that. I don't want to take somebody's money if they're going to struggle. You know why? Because it's not fair to them. It's also not fair to us, because now, we don't have the bandwidth to jump on calls with everybody to help them out. The whole point of the program is to be able to go through the course video and get started. And if people can't get through the course video and get started, it's going to be a little bit tougher for them. Okay. I'm not trying to scare anybody off. You guys, those of you that know me, I'm very much a straight shooter. I'll tell you exactly like it is, because I want you guys to succeed. Your success is my success, is Mike's success, is the company's success. Right. So we want to make sure that you're just in the proper mindset and you have everything lined up properly before you get started. Okay. With that said, we do have an amazing testimonial for you. Let me bring her up. Hopefully she is available. Maryanne, are you there? She is
I'm
here. Okay.
here, Nick. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So everybody, this is my
Okay.
good friend Maryanne. Maryanne and I have been friends for many years. We've been through many different programs together. We've made money together. And when I told her about this, she was a little bit skeptical, because, and everybody's skeptical at first, but she trusted me enough to say that, listen, if it's working for you, I'm going to give it a try. Got on a call with her and her daughter. They're doing this together. So I'm going to get myself out of the way. Maryanne will tell a little bit about herself and her story, and then we'll get back to me.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
Um, yeah, so like Nick said, I heard about this several months ago. Was really intrigued because I I'm a huge sports nut. I've played and watched sports my entire life. But the cool thing is you don't need to even like sports to do this. But I happen to like sports. I'm from California, moved to Utah, God, 2 years ago already in July. That's crazy. So I'm a huge Giants fan. Baseball is my sport. So when Nick told me about this originally, I was like, you know, can I even do this? Or because he would tell me you don't need to know sports, you don't need to know how to sports bet, which I've never done. I might watch sport and play it, but I've never bet on it. But the cool thing is about LGM is the fact that one, you don't need to know anything about sports, and two, we're hedging our bets, meaning we're betting both sides. So we're going to win one and lose a little on the other side. So there's no guessing, like there's no it's not emotional betting. Like when I watch a Giants game and I say I've bet on, them to win, I'm not sitting there praying that they're going to win tonight or something, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I obviously want them to win, but it doesn't matter when you place a bet because we're hedging our bets. So I didn't understand that at first, but with the Knicks, with him doing it for so long and him explaining this to me, it was sounded great. So back in April, I really was ready to get started. I wanted to save up to have a $2,000 bankroll because I knew that was a great place to start. You'll have to start with that. That's what I wanted to start with. So my daughter and I decided, she's a college student here. We decided to do this together. So I'm the bankroll, and she actually places the bets. So she's been great. She learned it. We got on the in the school all the training. We got on a Zoom with Nick, um, and it's I'm not going to lie, and I tell the people that sign up with me, I always tell them the first off that there is definitely a learning curve to this because this is something that we've never done before, right? But it's super fun. It's really profitable if you follow the process and listen to the trainings. We got on school, we watched all the videos with Chad, and yeah, it was a little confusing at first, but the cool thing is once you watch them, a couple, two, three times, it starts to sink in. And then once you do the process and you learn it, it's just repetitive. You do the same thing every morning. So my daughter takes the bets every morning for the day, and then Megan takes her 30 minutes, 45 minutes the most, right? She has tons of other stuff going on, so she doesn't have 3 hours a day to do this. So we started with 2000. Our first bet was May 3rd. We made just under $1,900 profit in May, which was amazing. We didn't take anything out. We rolled it over to June, and we are now, right now it's June 15th. God, we're halfway through June. That's insane. June 15th, we are at $2,300 in profit for June already. So that's crazy. We only took a little bit out to cover expenses like odds jam, stuff like that. But other than that, we roll everything over into new books. So that the fact that we're in Utah, we have offshore books. We can't do stateside, but the cool thing is we're only an hour and a half away from Wyoming. So when we drive there, which we're going to do in a couple of weeks, we drive right over the border, and we can do stateside books. So we can do FanDuel and DraftKings and Fanatics of that Utah doesn't have. So we get the best of both worlds here. We're not that far. So we're going to be doing that and making a lot of money on the stateside books, which will be cool. So other than that, and the other cool thing that I really love about this, and I'll wrap it up, is you don't have to talk to anybody to do this. This is something, you sit in your house, you take the bets in the morning, you get on the calls during the week, and you don't have to share this with anybody to make really good money. I do build a team because I want to share it. I mean, it's so great. It's a great opportunity that why wouldn't you? But I know there's a ton of people out there that just want to sit in their house and do their little tasks and stuff, which is awesome, and not have to share with anybody. And we can do that here and still make great money. So I'm super excited for LGM, and I'm so glad that I kept bugging the crap out of Nick. Sorry, Nick, to tell me how to do it and get me started. And we're really excited to see where like the end of June and July is going to take us. If we're already at $2,300 in June, so that's my story. And thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Maryanne. I appreciate it. Everybody drop some love in the chat. That was an amazing testimonial. So, Maryanne, let me ask you, do you feel like, I mean, you've done a lot of things in the affiliate marketing space over the last year. Where would you rank this compared to other things that you've done?
Oh, geez. I'm actually in a few opportunities now, and this is like my number one because again, you can sign people up, but they know that they can still make money without having to build a team. And that's like what I mean, we know everybody's looking for that, right? Everybody, not all people are team builders, and that's great. So this is definitely something that you can do without having to build a team and still make really good money and have fun doing it.
Yeah, so I
So
mean that's one of the main things is people can make money here without having to recruit. Recruiting just icing on the cake because once you get results, why wouldn't you want to share them, right? It's just a matter of showing somebody your calendar that shows them, the days that you made money, the overall profit, and people are going to ask, "What do you got going on?" Then just get them on this call or a recording of this call, which we usually post by the next day. Show them the recording and let them decide for themselves. You don't need to convince them of anything. The proof is up there. So thank you very much, Maryanne. I appreciate your time.
welcome. Thanks, Nick.
Nick, I think you're muted.
How did I mute myself? It's like, man, that takes some talent to mute yourself. But anyways, I was gonna say who I'm bringing on right now is Mike Tharp. He was our number one person we signed up. He's our top affiliate in this program. I'm going to let him tell his story, and then he's going to get into the compensation plan and how that works. Floor is yours, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for showing up tonight. My name's Mike Tharp. I live in, of course, the greatest state, Michigan. Born in Detroit. I live on the west side now. I was a high school history special education teacher for 17 years. I kind of fell into this whole network marketing, magic internet money around 2019 and had a lot of success with it and was able to retire from teaching in 2020. So I've been in this space for about 6 years. And of course, the number one issue I always run into is, of course, even if I find a great product, right, that I can bring to my community, um, you know, I've had a lot of success in this industry, but a lot of people struggle with it, right? Like people don't like to share. They're scared, their fear of rejection. And even if they do sign a few people up, they typically don't make money. So the number one thing I love about LGM is you don't have to share to make money, right? And what's really crazy is I believe I'm the top affiliate. I think I've brought in about 50 people, right? I have made more money using the profit loop, uh, betting on sports games than I have on my commissions. And again, I brought in 50 people direct, and I brought in some pretty big players too who have brought in other people. But I'm still making more money with the product, the education, the system that Chad and our school community teaches you. But I just want to hit a couple key points to kind of piggyback off of what Nick was talking about. And to me, this solves the problem of side hustles or network marketing that we see today, right? Because with the way the economy is, like everyone's looking, how can I make more money, right? What do I have to do? And again, most of the time you're going to be forced to sell or recruit to people. And then again, only a few at the top make the really big money. Well, right now, even though if I'm the number one affiliate, there's people out there who are just betting on games, making more money than I am by referring 50 people, right? And even if you do build, even if you are good at networking, you build a big community, right? You're constantly worried about people staying active or trying to convince them, to not quit the business and to stay active. And again, that's because if people aren't making money, they're not going to want to stay. That's the beauty of LGM is essentially everyone's winning. Everyone that's following the process is winning. So why are they going to leave and walk away? And even if you do find success at another company, the comp plan changes, they go out of business, you never know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of this is we are learning skills and organization and just how to structure, your day so that you can profit no matter what. Obviously, if you get a traditional side hustle, Uber Eats or just Uber Lyft, right, you're having to leave your house for hours at a time, to not make that much money. And so what I love about LGM, and it has a proven record where anyone can learn to make serious money from anywhere in the world in less than 30 minutes a day working from home. And this is one of the best questions I ask people. Because guys, when I talk about LGM, I rarely ever even talk about the comp plan because you can make so much just from the betting, right? But I'll talk about it here for a little bit. But I always ask people, I say, how much would you pay to make $5,000 a month? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. Remove it. Forget about LGM. If somebody just came up to you and said, how much would you pay to learn how to make $5,000 a month? Now, obviously, the easiest answer is 5,000, right? I mean, you're going to get your money back just doing that, right? So you're going to at least pay $5,000 to learn if you know it's guaranteed, right, that you can learn how to make $5,000 a month from home. Now, like Nick said, I think when he got started in the with Chad, I think it was almost $10,000 to get started, right? And
Yeah.
so we're not even anywhere near that. So again, I just want to make sure you guys understand, how amazing this is. And so just to kind of sum it all up, right? LGM is the ultimate side hustle for the people who want to make an extra $2,000 to $10,000 a month working from home on their own terms. I can get my bets in 10, 15 minutes, but I've been doing this for about 3 months now, right? You just need to follow a simple system and input numbers. You decide when you work and how much you want to make each month, anywhere from about 2 to 10,000, depending on how serious you want to take this. So the cost to start LGM is 997 one time. Okay. So think about that, guys. If somebody doesn't see the vision here and understand like why they would want to pay just under $1,000 to learn how to make $5,000 a month, I don't know if I can help them, right? The math ain't mathin' if you don't see the value here. And then there's no contracts or anything, right? And then it's 197 a month for the ongoing support, right? So you guys are getting into our school community with this. You have the support there. You can message Chad one-on-one. Chad does multiple Zooms throughout the week. I think he's at up to 3 now, maybe more, right? And then we have other leaders, meeting with people to help them get started. Now, like Nick said, is you will need a bankroll, right? We do recommend trying to start with at least $2,000 to place your bets. You could start with as little as 1,000. It will just be a slower start. Okay, so if you have patience, just understand it will take a little bit longer to get that going. Now, there is no guarantees, okay? But typically, Chad says, because everyone says, well, how much can I make? Typically, if you follow the process and you take this seriously, you're going to be able to double your bankroll each month. So if you start with 2 grand, and at the end of that month, you should have somewhere around 4 grand. Start with 5 grand, you should have somewhere around 10 grand if you follow the system and you stay disciplined. So, and just to be clear, yes, this works in all 50 states and Canadian provinces. Every Zoom, we get everyone asking about every specific state. Okay, these are offshore books. You know, as long as you're in the Americas, Canada, you're good to go. So if that's not enough money for you and you're like, well, I still want to tell more people because this has helped me. I want it to bless other people. You can become an affiliate for a yearly fee of $199, right? Because we can't have everyone being an affiliate with compliance and stuff like that. So there's no pressure. You don't have to share this, right? If you say, hey, I got somebody that wants to sign up, it's $199 to become an affiliate for the whole year, and you're going to get paid $250 for telling one person. So if you just tell one person, you're already, ahead. So you get a 250 fast start bonus, right? And then we have monthly residual income. And I actually made a little thing here that might help make it a little easier because you can basically this is the whole comp plan in one sheet, right? When people join, right, it's going to be $997. If you refer that person directly, that's your level one. It's $250 to you, okay? And then if that person decides to tell somebody, you're going to get $75 when they join. And then if that person tells somebody, you're going to get 60 and so on all the way down to level 5. So I'm getting paid levels 3 and 4 and out. People, I don't even know who they are. Never heard of them, never seen them. I'm just getting $60, $60 a day from people I don't know who they are. That's the beauty of networking. And so there's no binary, there's no placement, there's no flushing of points. I'm so glad Dustin made it like this. I don't ever look in my back office, to be honest with you. Like most networking companies, like every week at the end, you're like, oh, okay, I got to get 500 points here, and I got to make sure they get on their monthly auto ship. And then I need to buy some more product before Saturday at midnight to make sure all my points and payments come in, right? There's none of that here. It's just 5 levels deep. As more people join and your network grows, you get paid. So that's the one-time fast start. On the other side, you have the monthly residual. So it's $197 a month. If you brought in that person, every time they pay their monthly, you get 30. Level 2 is 10, 5, 3, and 2. So it's just 5 levels deep. Very simple. Just help people win and you get paid more. Dustin does have this. I'll put this in the Zoom here. You get, there's so many ways to get your money back. Refer 3 in your first 30 days, you get $1,000 back. So they basically throw you an extra 250. You can build a team of 5, you get your 199 back. And that doesn't mean even you brought in 5. If you bring in one person, they bring in 4, that's a team of 5. You get your 199 affiliate license rebate back. There's a calculator here. Let's say you personally enroll 5 people. You're going to make about $2,000 and have 150 month residual. And that's with Nobody else brings in anyone. You just bring in five. You're going to get paid around 2 grand and have 150 a month residual. Of course, there's no guaranteed income. All examples are illustrations only. Um, I think that is it, Nick. I will hand it back to you. But again, I just want to say thank you guys for letting me get in this early. It's been absolutely amazing. And again, what I love about this is if everyone decided to leave LGM tomorrow, I brought in, I'm still making money. If they don't want to make more money, that's up to them. But I know that I'm loving it and the team's loving it, and I love seeing everybody win. So thanks again, Nick, for having me on.
And Mike, you brought up a good point, is that in other networking type of businesses, you're really dependent on making sure that your team is out there doing something so you can make something, and vice versa. And there's a place for that, and I love it. We both grew up in that industry, so we have a lot of love for it. However, if you could do it a different way and be able to not have to be dependent on your team in order to make money, that's a game changer. And there's only a few industries out there that do that, where you can actually make money without having to put that much pressure on your team to do the same. It's like, if they want to bet on the games, they can. If they want to invite people, they can. But it doesn't change the fact that you're making noise, and people are seeing what you're doing, because every time you put a result out there, you're just attracting more people to you anyways, correct?
Yeah, this is just like the really the easiest sell. Like you don't really have to do it because there's no pressure to do it, right? Most opportunities, like if I can't convince Nick to join, I'm just not going to make any money. So I'm desperate, right? I'm sweating. People can smell that from a mile away. Whereas here, it's like, I made 5 grand last month. Believe me or not, I really don't care. I'm going to keep making money. Whenever you want to join me, join me. And really, Nick, the only people who don't join once they find out about this are people who just don't have the funds at that time, and that's fine. And I just tell them, I'm like, listen, do what you got to do. How bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want to stay in this situation where you don't have $1,000 in your bank account? Like, I know a lot of people are living like that right now in this economy, but how long do you want to live like that? And what are you willing to do to get out of it? So have a garage sale, right? Start giving blood, start giving plasma, do a pop can drive. I don't care. But I've been in, situations like that, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get out of it. So we have the system, we have the training, we have the education. So anyone that wants to learn that simple process, do what you guys got to do. I'm telling you, it'll be well worth it.
Yep, do what I did. Sell your sports cards, sell your Pokemon cards, because
Yeah.
I'm honest. It sounds like a joke. I actually sold a lot of my cards to put into this, and the money I've made from this, I've been able to buy better things than I ever had before. This just came in today, a Shohei Ohtani rookie card, right? I would not have been able to do that before, because I was just, just it's just different. It's like I can't explain how this money multiplies and how it compounds and stuff. So it's a great program. It's a great experience. It's something that, like I said, sports is not going away. Sports betting is not going away. Sports books are not going away. If anything, go look at sports. All they're doing nowadays, yesterday at the UFC fights or during the games, they show you the lines. They show you what players are to bet on and stuff. It is a part of what we're doing now. It is that big. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's only going to get bigger. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop the recording so it's not too long. We'll take a few questions and then we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, everybody. Give me just a second. And